States, so stick around. The governor up there, I don't want to keep the governor waiting. Is he? Oh, yeah. Nice to see you.
Hi, Sally. How are you? Good to see you.
Where is it? Is it just one or many?
Pulled this together for Annie Bingham, Suki Howard, Lynn May, Jay McKay, Jill Nelson, Frank Santoro, and Claire Sauer. Please thank them. I need to make special mention of Sandy Dower. She really lent a hand at the last minute. And I also need you to thank the people who are feeding you so well today. They're Jax, Savory, Bistro at Benigno, Sage, and Du Village. Please thank them. We also have 8 volunteers, high school sophomores, who have been helping you and helping this event get organized today. They parked the cars, they're cleaning up your trash, they're serving your punch, and I wish you would give them a good hand. And now I want to introduce Phil Miller. He's the first selectman of Essex. He is serving as our host today from this side of the river, and he is going to welcome you and introduce Lowell Weicker.
Thank you and good afternoon. Chester is a sister town to Essex and Deep River. We share a really nice progressive public school system, and we've been sister towns for several hundred years. And I know that one of the selectmen of Chester, Martin Heft, is right back here. You wave, Martin? We're very proud of our communities on this side of the river. Today we have a truly extraordinary opportunity. A few weeks ago I was speaking at a Memorial Day event to a group of elementary school students, and I reminded them that every man and woman who has ever served in our military has taken an oath of honor to defend the Constitution of the United States of America. And I was telling these kids that most of the writing of that Constitution was done by James Madison, a Virginian, who was inspired by the earlier written Connecticut Constitution. And a lot of the rights that are given to us in that Constitution are things that maybe we don't think about on a daily basis, things like free speech and free association. And that also means then that we can speak amongst ourselves, we can get together, and we can ask ourselves the rhetorical question, what kind of country do we want to be? We've seen that a lot of people would prefer us to walk a narrowly defined path, a path where there is a rampant corporatism with little or no oversight, a reckless militarism. And when we think how President Teddy Roosevelt once said that we should speak softly, he meant the language of diplomacy. And that big stick was only to be wielded in the most extreme case. And we've seen that the narrowly ascribed to path that our country's going is troubling to so many. Every once in a while, you get public servants who are maybe not cut from the same cloth. I can tell you from my own experience that when you serve, you're always gauging what's good for the constituency, and you're looking for opportunities. And I know that sometimes when you want to go a different route or a slightly different path, because it's of the very public nature of the service itself, it's something that some would find fault with and criticize. And I know that as a public servant, it's so much easier to just sort of do as little as possible at times. And maybe even worse are those public servants who are simply those who gauge it and then see, okay, what will play the best? And they are truly weather vanes. And I'm not sure that their service is exemplary in all cases. Every so often, you get a public servant who's in it for all the right reasons. Someone who wants to make things better, and someone who has the courage of convictions to hold their ground and stand their ground and not care what the critics might say. We have such a person on the stage here. Because he always had the courage of convictions, he was sometimes criticized. Because of his physical stature, he was looked at in ursine terms, perhaps. And because of his independence, he was called a maverick. And he's the kind of person who, after his public service is ended, or officially ended in elected style, you get people wondering, where has that breed gone? Or you may hear someone of that nature described as one of a dying breed, or the old breed. And today we're here because I want to tell you that that breed lives on, and you'll hear more. So the first person I'd like to introduce is someone who has a long and distinguished career of public service. He was an excellent manager as a first selectman, town of Greenwich, with a good-sized economy, and he was later a United States Senator. And just barely 2 years into his first term, he had to stand against a lot of pressure for what was right. And he did that throughout that career in the United States Senate. And then as a governor, he had to give us a painful solution to a problem that no one else wanted to look at. And that takes guts. So it is my distinct privilege to introduce to you former First Selectman, United States Senator, and Governor, Mr. Lowell Weicker.